Hi everyone. I wanted to just give you a brief overview of the conference that we attended this past Tuesday in Columbia, South Carolina. It was hosted by understood.org. You may have seen some of the pictures that we put up while we were there. It was a conference regarding learning and attention issues, and you can see I picked up one of their shirts. We also picked up a few other nice items that they were giving out, so it was really wonderful. If you ever get an opportunity to go to one of their conferences, I would highly recommend it if your schedule permits it. It is a great opportunity to hear some of the leading experts in these fields speak, and it is eye-opening and you will not be disappointed. So what is understood.org? If you have been on, if you've been on our Facebook page, you will notice that some of, actually a lot of our articles come from understood.org. What they did is they took 15 nonprofits that deal with learning and attention issues, and they put them all together under understood.org. So what does that mean? That means all of this information has now become a one-stop shop for you. So as you, I'm sure, have done many times over, I know I have, especially in the past. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years. You Google something, and it's either autism or ADHD or dyslexia or whatever you're looking for, and you come back with pages and pages and pages of information. And it's a little overwhelming. And sometimes you may notice that some of the pages contradict each other. At this site, you can be rest assured that everything that you are reading and gathering is accurate. You can't always be that sure when you're just kind of perusing other sites, especially when you start getting into the blog sites. I'm sure most of them are accurate, but sometimes they might not be accurate. But this site is completely accurate, so you can be sure that what you're reading and spending your time researching is well worth it. So if you go to their site, which all of you need to do if you have not already, you will get to their main page, and immediately you will realize that it is a very user-friendly page, which I love because I'll be honest, I am not technologically savvy at all. One of my favorite tabs under understood.org, and I'm just going to really briefly go through this, and I'm sorry that I'm not looking right at you because I want to make sure I'm saying the right information on their page. If you go to their main site, if you go all the way over to the right-hand side, you will see your parent toolkit. If you click under that tab, it will pull up a bunch of other things that underneath that, like subtabs. If you go all the way over to that right on those subtabs, you will see a link that says Through Your Child's Eyes. When you click that, what pulls up is an opportunity to experience what it is like through your child's eyes. So say your child has attention issues. You can go down and you can click attention issues, and up will pop a simulation of what it is like looking through your child's eyes. This is eye-opening. If you are like me, and you haven't had to struggle with any of these issues, and now you have children where they do have these issues, sometimes it is really hard to relate. And sometimes it can even cause frustration because it's hard to put yourself in that category, and sometimes a lot of these children have difficulty explaining what it is like in their world. So when I actually went through organizational issues because my child, like so many others, I'm sure, struggle with this skill significantly. So I clicked organizational issues because it is sometimes very hard for me to understand these struggles. It's hard for me to understand how, my child leaves the house with homework in the backpack, and from the house to first period in school, it somehow disappears. I remember one time he said that the hallway ate it, which I thought was a wonderful reason, but I still couldn't understand why it was out of the backpack at that point. So I chose that issue, because I am one of the most organized people you will meet, so it's very hard for me to connect with that. It was eye-opening, and I'll be honest, it was a little sad as well, because it really gave me the opportunity to step back and look to see how overwhelming it can be for somebody whose brain works differently. I mean, you're not going to have that opportunity anywhere else. How else are you going to get inside someone's brain? So please take advantage of these simulations. It will really change the way you are able to empathize with your child's struggles, and it will also change the way you are advocating for your child as well. There's just a couple other things I wanted to mention on this website, because there's so much information, there's no way I can go through all of it. They also have a tab under your parent toolkit, and it's called Just for You. And this is great because it allows you to create a profile for your child. When you do that, you are able to input the things that your child struggles with. So you could input organizational skills and attention issues and reading issues, or whatever it is. And then once all that is inputted, this website will then personalize itself to serve your child's needs. So it will give you back resources and articles that pertain to just those issues. So it doesn't, you're not bombarded with, say your child has dyslexia, you're not bombarded with articles on autism, because that, if your child doesn't have autism, that's not relevant to you. So it is a time saver, and I think everybody can appreciate that, because we're living in a world that's moving quite quick, especially our world when we have children that we're advocating for. So it is definitely a time saver. There are so many other things that I can say. A couple other things I wanted to point out, though. They have webinars. I'm just trying to find it really quick. Webinars and live chats. So what that means is you can go to, it's stuck, but you can go to under community and events, and they will have daily something going on. Oh, there it goes. You can have daily, here we go. Daily, they have something going on. So upcoming webinars, you can click that. The next webinar is tomorrow, Friday the 5th, and the topic is cause or effect, the relationship between stress, anxiety, and ADHD. Today, they have live expert chats. So you can chat live with an expert in today's topic, and it's at 5 o'clock today, and just in case anybody's wondering. And it's about how does a child with executive functioning issues think differently? That's probably a great one for me. So, and it just lists on and on and on and on. Another live expert Saturday, this is a good one, the ins and outs of IEPs and 504 plans. So some of you may really want to click in on that, and that is a live expert chat. So if you really want to ask questions that you may be a little confused about, that would be something you wanted to tap into. And that is hosted, or that is being answered by a clinical professor at Hunter College. So, and that's just a few examples. They have something going on every single day, and that is free. So take advantage of it. The other great thing, as you are going through understood.org, I'm just going to close this now because it's distracting. They have a lot of articles, and what they said what they repeated quite a bit at the conference is printing those articles and using them for advocacy. Understood.org is huge on advocacy, on a parent side and on a child side when it is age appropriate. You will be surprised at how much our children know pertaining to themselves. So you may have a kindergartner who, may not be able to sit through an entire IEP meeting and get all the ins, or a 504 and get all the ins and outs of it. But, it's sometimes worth asking, what do you think, or how do you feel you learn best? get them used to it, get them used to the process. Because when they start to get older, you want to be bringing them to IEP meetings and or 504s if they're having them. Because that is important. That is going to be a life skill. You're going to need them to be able to advocate for themselves, because when they are older, when they're in high school and or college, they need to learn, they need to have that skill to advocate for themselves. So they really stress that a lot in the conference, and we stress that as well at Palmetto Exceptional Education Advocates, because we want our kids to grow up responsible and strong, and we want them to be well aware of what they need, and we want them to be able to communicate that if possible. So what they have on their website is they have a self-awareness worksheet for kids, which is great, and it has certain things that are filled out that they can fill out, such as I am strong in these areas, I struggle with, my favorite thing about school is, here's what the teachers I'm most comfortable with do to make that happen, which is great feedback too regarding who's teaching them. The most stressful part of my school day is I'd like some help with. When I need help, I'm comfortable asking for it in the following ways. So they provide incredible prompts that you can really, talk to your child with and get them to be active in their education, be active in their advocating. So I would start, I don't see any reason why anybody, if your child does not have, severe communication problems, if your child is able to communicate, why, you couldn't really start this at kindergarten. I only just get them started. I mean, I wouldn't say if they're really struggling with it or getting frustrated to really push it, but it's worth just starting to ask them. They're great prompts, and it gets them in that habit. I know when they start getting into the middle and high school, some of their goals that are included, and I'm sure, everybody's IEP is individualized, but they like to include that child attending their annual IEP meeting, and I agree with the schools on that. I think that is an incredible idea, and it gets the children involved, and it gets them used to advocating for themselves, and I think they need to have a voice. So it's a great thing. In addition, they also have some other handouts that they handed out at the conference. You can print any of these out. The basic overview of that was print out some of the things that you see on the site that is specific to your child. Bring them to your IEP meetings. Bring them to your 504 meetings, and say, listen, hey, this is what I think would help my child. For instance, there's this one article. This is 8 expert tips on helping your child with dysgraphia. If you're not familiar with dysgraphia, it is a writing disability. So they give you 8 great tips on helping with dysgraphia. You can bring this to your school, and you can say, here you go. I think these are some good accommodations or interventions that may help my child, and in addition, it helps them at home as well. So, there's some on dyscalculia as well. Anything you want, ADHD, autism, print them out, bring them with you. And then I just really want to also reiterate regarding advocacy. There were, like I said, there was a bunch of nonprofits there, including Decoding Dyslexia South Carolina, which I wish I had gotten a chance to talk to them, but there were so many people I couldn't find them. But the National Center for Learning Disabilities, if you have not been to their site, that's another great site for you to check out, and it's www.ncld.org. And they're a great resource for children with learning disabilities, and they are huge on policy and advocating, and they will show you on their site really how to kind of get involved and start advocating for public policy and things of that nature, because I know sometimes it can sound daunting, but it can really be something as simple as just writing a letter to legislature, and a lot of times they'll already have form letters. You just really have to sign your name and email it off. Because as those of us in South Carolina know, nothing really gets changed unless you have a big movement, and the NCLD is really big on that. So it's a great site to check out as well. And I also do want to, since I mentioned Decoding Dyslexia, if you have a child with dyslexia and you have not been to Decoding Dyslexia site, it is a great resource for you, even if you think your child may have dyslexia or any of the other similarities with writing or math issues as well. It's a great site to check out. And the great thing with them is they are national, so they have chapters in every state. So the ones that were down in Columbia, obviously it was Decoding South Carolina. But so if you are in South Carolina, go to their chapter site. If you are in North Carolina, go to their chapter site. And they often have events too that are going on. That would be great. And you can contact them, you can ask them questions, and they will be more than happy to, help you out with that. They are the dyslexia people. So if you have questions regarding those kind of learning problems, those are the guys you want to go to. So that was kind of the overview. I really wanted to just pass along, the understood.org's website and really make mention of some of our other local ones. I can't believe I almost forgot this. ProParents was there too. ProParents South Carolina was there too. And if you haven't been to the ProParents site, I really encourage you to go to that as well. It's pro-parents, but don't hold me to that. But if you type in Google ProParents, it'll pull up. I mean, they're huge. So they were there, and ProParents are frequently putting on events and workshops. So you can go to their events tab and see where they are. And they're scattered throughout South Carolina, so you can just kind of see where they are at the moment. They have one that is coming up that is near the upstate area. It's going to be held in Lancaster County. I can't remember the date. I actually have it on our website. So if you go to www.palmettoadvocates.com under our events tab, it is there. With the address. Last I checked, the topic was still to be announced. They may have put it up by now, but frequently check ProParents as well, because they have a lot of workshops and they put on a lot of events that will be a great resource to you as well. So yeah, that's really about it. It was, like I said, it was an incredible conference, and I would encourage anybody, if you have a chance to go. It really gives you an even better understanding and a better grasp of how important what each and every one of us is doing, and how much it matters, and how much how much it not only is important for our children, but also children that are coming up behind our children as well. So take some time, go to their website. Like I said, you may want to block out an hour or so, because it's going to take some time. But if you have any questions, you can message me, email me, do that through Facebook, and I'll get back to you. All right.